Hi, good afternoon. I hope I'm audible and visible. Okay, great. I hope the lunch was good. Okay. See, I have a very tough task right now because we have a lot of filled people here with good lunch. Bangalore weather is, of course, always very cool. So I have to keep you all awake for next 7 minutes, 44 seconds. And I'll do my best to do that, right? So quick introduction. My name is Shashank, as you have seen already. I started Tredence with 2 other founders, not very far from here. There's a place called Brigade Metropolis next to Phoenix Mall. There was an apartment over there, and we started from a living room. See, we don't have a garage here, right? So living room becomes a garage. And from then on to where we are today. But this is not about Tredence. This is about what is a new for GCCs. I'll start with a quick story. Long back in 1943 or thereof, there was this great man called Thomas Watson, right? And he made a comment that there is a world market of maybe 5 computers, right? I wasn't born then, so I read that stuff. He was a great guy, right? IBM Watson, the Watson platform is named after him. In about 35 years from then on, Bill Gates and company built Microsoft, right? They built an operating system called Windows. They built word processor. And that ensured that we have 2 computers, one in my pocket and one on my hand, right? That is what operating system has done. The same transformation will be brought about by generative AI. Generative AI will ensure that AI will become democratized, widespread, and touch every single aspect of our personal and corporate decision making. So with that, I'll jump right in. We have had quite a journey with the GCCs. I still remember the time 20 years back when GCC was all about give me some people, right, and give me those people, right, at a low cost. At that time, the paradigm was right to engage, right? Why should I engage with the GCC? Okay, cheap cost, fine, we get that. The paradigm shifted over time, right, from there, from the captive to capability, right? Where the thing was, it's not just about the cheap talent, it's actually about the talent, right? And we in India have a unique capacity to create talent at scale, which I don't think any other economy has, right? And therefore, the transition from the captive to capability, right? And as that matured, right, as those high-quality talent started sitting in the capability centers, that resulted in the evolution of center of excellences, right? And centers of development, centers of new capabilities, and centers of innovation. And today, we stand at the cusp, right, where we can move from the GCC to build the true value AI organization. This is just a twisting word, but what it really means is how we can use AI, right, to create a value-driven organization. It's about building a future where a GCC has moved from the right to engage to right to partner to right to business, where a GCC has its own P&L, has its own business goals, has its own revenue goals, and is treated at par with other business units. And I think that future is very, very possible. It has happened, and it is happening right here in Bengaluru, right? These are some of the examples where Novartis has come up with its own drug. BMW is creating its own infotainment system, working with Harman, right? And great work has been done at Philips. In fact, I met one of the leaders of Philips, and I'm sure, right, with that kind of a great team, there's a lot of stuff we can do, in terms of driving the evolution. So I think that is a big thing, right? From being the body to the capability to building the business. And that is a big change that we're going to see happening out there in the market. What will drive this change, right? What will drive this change is the increasing digitization, the increasing working from home that has happened in the last 4 years because of COVID. Because of that, the decentralization has ensured that it doesn't matter where you sit. You can still innovate, you can still drive excellence. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about what is the stumbling block here. And the stumbling block is not easy. It's a very hard stumbling block. See, we have system of records, right? That is where you have all the data, right? Your ERPs and all of that. We also have what we call as system of intelligence, right? Where you have changed the business stuff and all that, right? But in between these two, there has to be something called a system of experience. So you have the records on one end, right? That's where all the data is sitting. You have the experience on the other end. That is a system where your customers, your partners, your sales reps, your warehouse managers, your logistics managers are interacting. In between, what you need to build is a system of intelligence, right? And that is the hard part. I think in GCCs, if you're able to build that system of intelligence, right, that is what will drive the true revenue and true change. Now, that's not easy. right? I'll tell you another story. This was about 1.5 years back. I was sitting in Switzerland meeting one of my customers, right? And this customer started talking about, how when a ship got stuck in Suez Canal, right, his entire supply chain got broken, right? The shelves started becoming empty, the sales folks started selling some stuff, right? Manufacturing started building some other things, DCs became headless. They all were trying to react to the change, but the problem was, there was no connected intelligence around that, right? And that created, a super organism with 10 heads, each running in different directions, right? And I think that is a unique opportunity for the GCCs, given the technology, the digital transformation, and the talent density that you have here to create that system of intelligence, right, by building the connective tissue, right, and ensure that you actually build a true enterprise brain that can act as one wholesome unit when faced with disruption. Because the way the world is evolving, disruption is going to be the way of life, right? Being right is not important. Being fast is where the money is, because if you're fast, even if you're wrong, you will correct yourself, right? And I believe that we have a big game to play here with GCCs, and I'll end real quick. I have about 2 minutes here, so I want to make sure that I use the time properly, right? Thank you for that. Here is the flywheel, for how we go about doing that. Nothing magical here. I think we all know that, right? But I think the journey is what makes this whole thing hard, right? See, our industry, right, data science, AI, digital transformation, it is actually not a math problem, right? It is actually a human problem. Math is just a tool to solve the human problem, right? And to solve the human problem, we need to bring in a lot of these aspects, right, of ensuring that we understand the customer experience, we understand the experience of our associates, the experience of the person sitting in warehouse, right, and do the right design thinking and create the right solutions which can then scale and drive the true transformation. I think if you're able to do that, the time is not too far, right, where GCCs will have their own revenue goals, like the true revenue goals, not the assisted revenue goals, right, and will be considered as a business unit of its own right and of its own worth, right? It's time to translate and transition from the body to the talent, right, to the capability, and from there on to become the true AI organization. And I think we are in a very unique time and space to do that, right? And with that, thank you for all your time. I hope I woke you up a little bit, but thank you, and have a great day ahead.